Hi everyone, I just want to get you to meet founder and director Mark Bonney, chartered accountant from Business Strategic Services. So Mark, how are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Good to hear. Could you please tell us a bit about your background in business accounting and tax services, and also what inspired you to start Business Strategic Services more than 30 years ago, please?
So basically, I started business in advisory for KPMG, large accounting firm, in business services. My experience is basically now, since then, 30 years, is audit, accounting, tax advice, business advisory, fixing businesses up, financial planning. So my experience is diverse and deep. Why I did it? Well, even though I'm an accountant and detailed, I do like communicating with clients and seeing them create wealth. But also looking forward. Most accountants don't look forward, like what's your 2025 budget? Where are you going to go? Where do you want to be in 2 to 3, 5 years? Do you want to sell your business? Do you want to buy another house, etc. like that? And it's only with good information through bookkeeping that you can anticipate the information and how to look forward for you and your family.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Also, just to ask you please also, what is this free offer that you're giving for any new clients? Surely there must be some sort of catch, usually online that's what happens.
Well, it is a genuine gift for me and my team to provide, evaluation or just general information about your business. Like there's a template for a budget and cash flow. It's not hard work for us because accounting and bookkeeping, just to do that, has no relevance. The purpose is to give you information, and you're going to only create wealth if you can anticipate that. So the only catch, Tony, is that you as a client give us a go and journey with us, and we'll prove to you how valuable we are in helping you create wealth.
Thank you, that's very good. I must admit that really sounds wonderful. But tell me something please also, how should a business choose an accountant, bookkeeper or tax agent? That's usually a very difficult one.
It is. The modern way has changed. There's a lot of do-it-yourself, so people feel like Xero, Better Business, MYOB. You can't really do it yourself unless you just want a tax return. If you don't want any advice and you just don't want to send your BAS and IS to the tax office, fine. Yeah. But if you want to create wealth and do better than that, you need to get a skilled advisor. So a lot of businesses just don't want to pay for the advice, but it's not a cost, it's an investment. So when you choose an accountant, you got to make that decision. What do you want? I just want a tax return done or a BAS or IS done, or I want to make more money for my business, I want to protect my assets, I better get a value. One of the key concepts about business is being around people who are successful. So if I was looking for an accountant, I'd go to a successful business owner and ask him who his accountant is. You'll find they'll be a business advisor, and that would be the best recommendation. I know we're coming across on my website, and you might feel, how do I try Mark? Well, there's an opportunity, and that's why we do the gift, because we prove our deliverable. So money is the choice, cheap or invest, depending on what you want.
Very true. No, that's so true, mate. It really is. So how is currently, with all this AI and everything else, how is ChatGPT and AI, say, and OCR affecting accounting and bookkeeping in this modern age?
Significant. It's interesting. We did an exercise because we do business advice. So if you typed in ChatGPT, for example, we just did one. I did one yesterday. A gentleman was buying a $500,000 Rolls Royce, and he wanted to know what the impact is and how best to run it. So as a matter of an exercise, I just ran it in ChatGPT. Now the basic fundamentals that are general in nature were correct. Like it calculated, when I put some dummy information in, it actually calculated the right FBT amount, etc. But there were specific natures on depreciation limits that affected the amount that you can claim, or GST. They were wrong. So to the point of about $50,000. So it has its place to give you core information. High level advisory, you need someone like me to interpret it to get most of the data done. For the lower level information like bookkeeping, accounting, reconciliations, it does. OCR, well, optical character recognition has been around. That is very good for pushing through data and information quickly. It is something to consider, but don't rely on it, because in the end, you remain responsible for your tax return, and your accountant is not ChatGPT.
Well said, well said. Well, Mark, look, I've known you for a while, that's an absolute fact, and I found it hard to believe that you're a traditional accountant, and I think a lot of the words you said earlier made that so relevant to what we're discussing today. But how do you approach client relationships differently at Business Strategic Services, please, and why is this important for business success?
So I'm not sure if I mentioned, I'm an ex-financial planner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
right.
So when the Financial Planning Royal Commission came around a few years ago, they wanted to re-educate financial planners, but I've been in the game, so I let that lapse. So, but the benefit of being a financial planner has been, whether it's a family business and it might be multi-generational, or there could be independent arm's length stakeholders. The most important thing about the business is the people behind the business. We forget the family, we forget the stakeholders. So like, if it's a husband and wife business, I will go and interview the family. Talk to the wife, talk to the husband, whoever's in business, the partners in the business, because until you find out how they interact and what their personal financial goals are, then you can't ensure that the business is stable. And then once you know that and their financial, what they want, or they might retire in a few years, then you can know what's stable, then you can build a strong foundation to then determine what the business wants. So that's the most important thing. We find it a lot, because I've got a lot of clients who are older with different ages. One wants to get out sooner. How are you going to buy them out? Or I'm going to get out in 2 years. So that's what I find the biggest difference, what I do, besides the normal advisory within the business.
Thank you. That's really well explained. This is going to be sound like a simple question, but I think people would like to hear this from you personally. What is the true difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant, please?
Yeah, okay. Sometimes I get called a bookkeeper. I mean, it doesn't matter. So a bookkeeper is generally a data processing person. Don't expect more than just a bank reconciliation without any thinking, or I don't mean that in a way, to their level. So data processing, get it to a state where then the accountant would take over and then use his technical and expertise and experience to say, what do the financials mean for my business? That's the first question I say. Do these financials make sense? Analyze the numbers. Is the business going to have problems? So it's a different level, and an accountant usually should look forward. Where's the budget? So there's management accountants. Where's my budget? Where's my cash flow? What do these numbers mean? So yeah, but we do understand it gets mixed up. That's why we offer bookkeeping and we offer accounting, but our bookkeepers are accountants, because what we try to do is make sure when we're processing information, we get it to the accounting standard and level.
Yeah. Now, well, I'm a perfect example of that, using your services for years. So is Xero a good accounting package in your opinion? I see advertising saying, run your business without the drama, and I don't think that would be right with it.
Okay, so, we use Xero a lot. I commend Xero for what they've done. Like when it came in 2018, they were testing the market, and us accountants were actually their beta testing buddies, Really, software doesn't do everything for you. You need to feed it information. You need to set it up properly and everything. So whether you use Xero, MyOb, you have your own ERP system or an internal specific system, all systems need to be effectively set up and managed. For a small business, up to probably $500,000, Xero up to $1 million, yes. The thing about Xero, what I find is that there are multiple applications that surround it. So Xero's here and you might have a payroll or a stock. When we deal with clients trying to put Xero together and having all these applications, do they talk? And the Xero model is unfortunately based on independent owners of these apps. So let's say, Tony, you are the payroll app.
Right.
Xero's here. If I've got a problem with the payroll app, Xero don't have any responsibility for it. I have to go to Tony. And Tony, I've got a problem talking. So they've got this information transfer that can create problems. So that's why, like, what I recommend to people, when you're selecting your software, even when you're starting out, consider if you're going to grow. If you're going to grow, now with open source ERP systems, Tony. Open source, Odoo, Sin7, you should consider it so you have a hub, total complete system and solution.
Okay,
nice. But I would recommend Xero if you are looking at growing, but to a small extent. But consider your software options all around.
Understood. Thank you. So, with your experience, you've spent both prosperous times and economic downturns. How do you tailor your services at BSS to help businesses thrive in any financial climate? Let's say that way.
Okay. So the reality is not just thrive. There's also thrive and survive, I call it.
Okay.
So what we do, we project manage all the solutions for a client. We orchestrate, so, accounting, tax, finance, financial planning. So when a business is going well, you need operations, you need systems, you need, like what we were just talking about, effective IT processes. But if your business is in trouble, you might need a good corporate lawyer, you need an asset protection specialist, you might have to go in and have an insolvency situation. So because we can address all issues that impact on a business, then we can basically offer options quickly and identify the issues. So, but remember, it's thrive as well as survive.
Very true, very true. Okay, mate. What strategic advice do you find most critical for businesses navigating transitions such as succession, sale, or even wind-ups?
Yeah, so everything has a life cycle. So when you're looking at succession or transition, you need to identify what everybody's needs are. Remember I mentioned about having that interview with where the client's going. So if you know early on the piece, you can plan. Once you identify the succession, then you just need to put a strategic plan together, 2 to 3 years out. I'm a business broker as well, buying and selling businesses. The issue I have is that people think, oh, I want to sell my business tomorrow. What's it worth? Well, I've put a lot of effort in it and I reckon it's worth, $2 million. Well, the numbers don't show that value, and they believe that the goodwill is blue sky and they get paid for it. You've got to have a constructive process, so a business plan. The other most important one is selling the business or estate planning. You've got to look at that. Then you've got the ugly side if you're in trouble and with business is going bad. No business goes bad straight away. You usually can tell. That's why you need good bookkeeping and accounting, to know where your financials are, because you can adjust and manage. And if it is going to go down, you then adopt the right structures.
Okay, thank you for that. So how has your training at the top of accounting firms and your extensive education shaped your personal approach to problem solving for your clients?
It taught me that education training is essential, and now that was a long time ago, I must say, but just the 24/7 type work and things changing, tax, systems like Xero changes, but also too, what it also taught me is those big firms have proper process and systems. So doing our business, BSS, we have multiple client managers, we have a good process, because they need to be all trained and effective systems in place that we have like a 24-hour turnaround for a response to a client.
Wow. So
yeah, because you need the information, it's your money and things like that. So that's what it taught me to.
Brilliant. Thank you. So 30 years, we can all say it's a long time to be in accounting, bookkeeping and tax advice. So what are the biggest changes in those years, in your opinion?
Oh, well, the biggest one is, in my time, the chartered accountant used to be the hub. If a person wanted a business question, you'd be the focal point. So we control all the outcomes. Now, like, as I said to you, do it yourself, I'll go and set up Xero. I'll go get some advice here. Then now multiple people are touching your business and giving you advice. And brutally, that affects your business, because I have picked up many a mess because I'm not the first front call. That's again why we do this free gift incentive. So we don't just become your accountant and bookkeeper. You get involved with us, so we become your virtual advisor. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is self-assessment. In 1986, up to then, you had to, when you lodged a tax return or your business tax return, the ATO actually checked it.
Okay.
So when they checked it, they'd say, all right, BSS, your income's $1 million, your tax is $300,000. Then you knew it was done. What self-assessment came in, the onus was on you to get it right. There is section 286 of the corporations law that say you must do bookkeeping right. But let's face it, Tony, if no one's on your back pushing you to get it right, is there real pressure to get it right? So I've seen a lot of accounting that don't follow the exact correct way to do accounting, but good business operators always do proper management accounts. The third one is introduction of BASs.
Right.
That, in actually a way, even though we have to pay taxes quarterly, made small businesses at least do their accounts quarterly and at least have a look at P&L. So I think there was some ability for businesses to then, my accounts look like this or that. So it brought that in. And the unfortunate one, being trained the old school way, is that I think there's been a drop in the level of quality of people with accounting and bookkeeping. It's very easy to get that, and it's, as I said to you at the beginning, there's a bit of a devaluation of accounting. So I often call myself a business advisor, so I don't get tainted with accounting. So I think they're the main ones. And don't forget technology. We said about ChatGPT, it's speed, data management, it's significant.
Yes. No, actually, it's a good thing that we're on that point, because I was just about to ask you this. You're a chartered accountant, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the actual difference, please, between you as a chartered accountant and a CPA, for example?
Oh, yeah, okay. So over time, they're both professional bodies and reputable, etc. Over time, it usually merges, but you've got to look at what role that CPA and CA plays in the role. So I'm a public accountant, not a commercial accountant. So if you're a commercial accountant to a public accountant, a public practice accountant, they are different, but you get your industrial experience. The only difference really I see was when you were trained. To become a CA was more onerous than being a CPA.
Okay, no, thank you for explanation. As you know, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curly one at you here. Can you please share an example of how Business Strategic Services has actually helped a client, please? And I'll be happy if you read some of that. That's fine. It's okay.
Oh, no. So we're in 2025. We all know about vaping.
Yes.
So 2018, three young guys from the UK had the rights to manufacture vaping in Australia. Proper products. They weren't this offshore illegal stuff and tainted with nicotine. They initially came to us for services of bookkeeping. So they started on I think maybe a $200 a week package, and then that moved into where they turned over 15 million.
Wow.
We had manufacturing, we had distribution, we had export. I was actually their virtual financial controller. We were doing monthly accounts, normal things of business, push and shove with legal, so we'd help there. And then the cataclysmic event, which I've never experienced in my life, was what the government did to the business. They was lobbying and all that, but when the politicians said you've got to close business on the 1st of July, but anticipating that, remember I said to you, if your business is going to go under, it never happens usually cataclysmically. You really get the feel. So we were able to plan a proper exit to ensure the guys got their best value. But yeah, that was a perfect example of how we journeyed with them using multiple services. To now what they are is, they've got the right return out of the business, and it's actually being liquidated by the ATO.
Wow, geez. Incredible, isn't it? Yeah, so now look, thank you, Mark, for this entire interview. I certainly hope that our listeners take this opportunity maybe to even ask questions. So if you can go to our the website for Mark, and if you want to ask any questions, you can maybe put them down there in an inquiry. I'm sure that Mark would like to answer those for you.
Yeah,
not
a problem.
Yeah, it'd be lovely, So thank you again for your lovely time today.
Thanks.
And thank you.